Chinese jet came within 3 meters of U.S. military aircraft. Vietnam pulls off Asia's fastest growth. U.S. to impose mandatory COVID-19 tests for travelers from China. 2023 may be the best bond market. Israel has improved readiness to attack Iran. U.S. immigrants generate 36% of nation's innovation. First metro rail running in Bangladesh's capital Dhaka. The 10 most bike-friendly cities in the world.
G'day ladies and gentlemen, I'm Carrick. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It is Friday, December the 30th, and here are your top stories. The US military said on Thursday a Chinese military plane came within 3 meters of a US Air Force aircraft in a contested South China Sea last week and forced it to take evasive maneuvers to avoid a collision. The Chinese jet, a Chinese Navy J-11 fighter, came within 3 meters of a US Air Force RC-135 aircraft's wing, but 6 meters from its nose. The US military said the incident took place in international airspace on December 21st.
According to the U.S. Navy, the Chinese jet approached a USP-8 Poseidon patrol plane.
A U.S. official said the United States has raised the issue with the Chinese government. In a meeting with his Chinese counterpart in November, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin raised the need to improve crisis communications and also noted what he called dangerous behavior by Chinese military planes. The media said the close encounter followed what the United States has called a recent trend of increasingly dangerous behavior by Chinese military aircraft.
Vietnam was the fastest growing economy in Asia this year. The country's gross domestic product, backed by strong domestic retail sales and exports, grew 8.02% in 2022, the nation's fastest rate since 1997. The rating is higher than an official growth target of 6 to 6.5% and last year's growth of just 2.58% when COVID-19 lockdowns left a dent on the economy and impacted factory activity. According to Vietnam's General Statistics Office, manufacturing, which grew 8.1% during the year, was the main driver of the country's economic growth.
Since the outbreak of COVID-19 2 years ago, Southeast Asia may have finally gained some ground in its long battle against the virus.
The better-than-expected showing gives Vietnam's central bank the space to wait and watch before deciding to pivot monetary policy away from tightening. Vietnam's General Statistics Office, GSO, said in a report that its GDP growth in the fourth quarter was 5.92%, slowing from a growth of 13.71% in the third quarter. Exports in 2022 were up 10.6% to $371.85 billion. Retail sales rose 19.8%, and consumer prices in December rose 4.55% from a year earlier.
The United States would impose mandatory COVID-19 tests on travelers from China, U.S. health officials said on Wednesday, joining India, Italy, Japan, and Taiwan in taking new measures. U.S. officials said beginning on January 5th, all air passengers 2 years old and older were required to have tested negative no more than 2 days before departure from China, Hong Kong, but also Macau. Passengers who test positive more than 10 days before a flight can provide documentation of recovery in lieu of a negative test result.
With COVID cases surging in China, the Biden administration announced a new COVID-19 testing requirement for travelers from China.
The U.S. federal officials said they attributed the change in policy to the lack of information on variants of the SARS-CoV-2 virus and concerns that the increased number of COVID cases in China could result in the development of new variants of the virus. The United States also is expanding its voluntary genomic sequencing program at airports, adding Seattle and Los Angeles to the program, which brings the total number of airports gathering information from positive tests to 7.
Goldman Sachs forecasts 2023 bond yields would exceed stock dividends. Goldman said in its report that, we quote, after a sharp increase in bond yields this year, newer potentially less risky alternatives are emerging in fixed income. U.S. investment-grade corporate bond yield almost 6%, have little refinancing risks and are relatively insulated from an economic downturn. They continued on, saying that investors can lock in attractive real inflation-adjusted yields with 10 years and 30 years Treasury inflation-protected securities close to 1.5%.
Bonds are a common investment. However, to many investors, they remain a mystery. So let's explore what a bond is and how it...
For investors, Goldman sees two strong upsides to bonds in this market. First, income investors can simply collect better gains. Bonds yield fixed, scheduled payments that you can plan around. For many investors who want to generate cash off their portfolios, that's preferable to the unpredictable nature of dividend payments. Now they can get that predictability without serious opportunity cost. Second, and perhaps more consequentially, Goldman sees this as a safe harbor in case of a coming recession.
Struck 它是 strike 这动词的过去式 strike a deal 就是
学习享受一个人的美好时光 FUNDAY 英语
Israel's outgoing defense minister, Benny Gantz, said on Wednesday that the nation has proved its readiness to attack Iran. Speaking at an Air Force graduation ceremony, Gantz said that pilots may one day be called upon to take part in such an offensive. Gantz was further quoted as saying, "You may cross the sky to the east in 2 or 3 years and take part in an attack on nuclear sites in Iran, for which we are preparing while significantly increasing readiness in recent years." Israel destroyed an unfinished nuclear reactor in Syria in 2007.
Israel is becoming increasingly concerned that Russia's growing dependence on Iran's military potential in Ukraine could prompt Iran to seek Russian assistance for its nuclear program in return. Israel rejects Iran's assertions that the nuclear program is for peaceful purposes and has said that it will take any steps necessary to prevent Iran from acquiring a bomb. A new Israeli government expected to be approved by parliament on Thursday. Gantz is likely to remain in parliament as a member of the opposition.
According to a paper from the U.S. National Bureau of Economic Research, foreign-born inventors in America are substantially more productive than native-born scientists. About 36% of the innovative output of the past 3 decades could be attributed to immigrants, who make up 16% of the country's inventors. Foreign-born inventors are directly behind almost a quarter of all patents, and their work indirectly contributes to additional findings by U.S.-born scientists.
The researchers found the contribution of high-skilled immigrants is broad, not particularly concentrated in specific sectors, but they generate a significant share of innovative output in the technology, medical, and chemical industries. The paper also finds that foreign-born inventors tend to have more collaborators than native scientists and are more likely to work with other immigrants. Separate research shows about 600,000 of those missing immigrants would have been college-educated.
Bangladesh's capital now has its first metro rail. A section of the over 20-kilometer urban rail project, known as Line 6, connects the northern zone of Dhaka to a hub of government offices and hospitals in the city center for now. The line would eventually cut through the city to the financial district of Motijil in the south. The Japanese-funded project that aims to ease commuting in one of the most congested cities in the world is likely to bring significant changes to how people travel in Dhaka.
The service opened to the public Thursday, December 29th. The Dhaka Metro Rail spans over 6 kilometers over the Padma River that is expected to connect 80 million people, half the country's population, linking the southwest to the northeast. Before the launch, traffic congestion wasted about 3.2 million working hours each day and cost Bangladesh's economy billions of dollars every year. Dhaka is the 7th least livable in a list of 172 cities in the world on the Economist Intelligence Unit's Global Livability Index for 2022.
According to this year's Global Bicycle Cities Index, 9 of the 10 most bicycle-friendly cities in the world are in Europe. Hangzhou in China, the only non-European city in the top 10, made an unexpected appearance with its 7th position. Unsurprisingly, it was a city in the Netherlands, Utrecht, that topped this year's ranking. The city boasts high scores for its cycling infrastructure and weather conditions, and more than half of its population rides a bicycle in their everyday life.
Digital insurance company Luko looked at 90 cities around the world and ranked them based on 6 main parameters: the percentage of bicycle users, weather conditions, crime and safety, such as accidents and bike theft rates, infrastructure, bike sharing opportunities, and special events such as no-car days. Among the 9 cities, Germany took 3 with Munster ranked 2nd place, Bremen 9th, and Hanover 10th. Antwerp, Belgium ranked 3rd with Copenhagen, Denmark placed 4th. Amsterdam 5th, Malmö, Sweden 6th, and Bern, Switzerland came in at 8th.
And that's it. We would like to give everybody a very heartfelt thank you for tuning in every day for FUNDAY News this year. It has been a pleasant and eventful year 2022, and we're certainly hoping that 2023 will be as positive.
As always, thank you for choosing us for your daily news and English learning. Don't forget to click on the link below to join FUNDAY for free. Your English will improve by leaps and bounds with FUNDAY.
I'm Carrick.
I'm Johnny. And on behalf of the whole FUNDAY crew, we wish you a very happy new year.